Hey guys, this is Danny, and in today's video, I will be talking about a bunch of additions that I think should be added to Hive Skywars. So, what I decided to do is ask a bunch of popular content creators that you guys probably know, and if you don't, you should check them all out. They're all really cool. So I asked a bunch of Hive content creators what they think should be added to Hive Skywars, and in today's video I'll be going over all of the things that they suggested and talking about what I could see added with it and the possibility of them actually happening. So yeah, so the first suggestion is by Yellowfish. This was also suggested by Quackpot, but Quackpot suggested another thing that I'll be talking about, but this was suggested by Yellowfish, and it says crafting. I know for a fact that Evan would agree with this because he would be able to make an entire video, maybe even multiple, just on crafting. It would add so much. No, it wouldn't be one video, it'd be multiple videos. The biggest thing about crafting is that they would need to add some way to obtain ores for crafting, or make it so ores have a chance of dropping armor, or actually dropping, like, let's say you mine diamonds, you can actually get either armor, weapons, or individual diamonds themselves, and the same thing for gold, and you can just get ores from the ores themselves, and all of them will have a use except for redstone. Well, redstone will have a use. That'd be able to do activating redstone, which would be a whole nother level of things, which would probably come with crafting, which would be super awesome. So redstone would be a big part of it. One thing that you'd be able to craft, for example, would be a shield. You know, you can't actually get it from chests, but if you get some iron, you'd be able to craft a shield. For example, I think it'd be really cool if they made crafting specific items, things kind of like a knockback Nemo, but you can only get from crafting. Maybe make a crafting or that maybe copper, when copper comes out, could drop crafting materials, something like that. That'd be really awesome. So yeah, just giving things with different purposes, something to like a Nemo. You'd also be able to craft things like a golden apple. For example, if you get an apple from leaves, like the SG mechanic, if you mine leaves, you can get some apples. I think crafting would add a lot, and I think all those ideas would make the Skywars aspect so much more. It would add so much to it, just adding crafting. I really like the idea of the crafting ore with copper and all that stuff. Just making so many ways that would just enhance it to a whole new level for sure. The next feature was suggested by Evident, and it has to do with water buckets and new maps. New maps is self-explanatory. Want new maps to find new ways to trap, new blocks, all that fun stuff. But the thing I'm going to be focusing on is water buckets. Water buckets would be cool for a bunch of reasons. First of all, they'd be cool for clutching. So if you're up in the sky, you build up, you could jump down and land on a water bucket, and then you could take it away and people will jump behind you, stuff like that. That's just like a way of trapping, for example. Like I said, trapping, there'd be tons of ways to trap that Evident would be able to come up with. You could trap people and you could drown people with water buckets. There are just so many things that I know Evident would come up with. But the big thing about it is, would water buckets be flowing, or would it be an individual block? There's actually no flowing mechanic on the Hive. They don't have flowing water. They only have, like, for example, if you see the Skywars map, for example, on a map like Spellbrook over here, they have the water that goes down like this. However, if you end up breaking this block, or if you just break a block that the water would end up flowing on, for example, the water should flow over here, but it doesn't. It just stays like this, so you can actually go under here. So this is the problem with water, with it doesn't flow, which kind of works, but also doesn't. So it kind of flows, like I said, but they don't actually have a flowing water mechanic, where if you place it, the water won't actually flow. So if they added that, that would change things a lot. But water buckets would still be cool and great for trapping, and just interesting in general. And this skin is illegal. So the next suggestion was suggested by Quackpot, and also Fizzy had the same suggestion here. Also Potato suggested this, but for Potato I'll be talking about something else later on in today's video. But kits would be cool, but the thing about kits is that they need to be balanced, because the Hive wouldn't want to scare off new players. I think kits should be unlockable, that you can unlock cooler kits, but there would need to be a balancing way to do it. For example, some kit ideas would be, for example, a knight kit that has like iron armor to start off, maybe an axeman kit which has a diamond axe, an archer kit which has like a power bow, a mage kit which would have for example, some of the enchanted books. But there could be higher level kits, such as like a teleporter kit, which starts you with 2 ender pearls. However, maybe after you throw those ender pearls, you would get nausea. Something to balance out the kits, but I think it'd be worth getting to middle with nausea if you were to get there really quickly, if it lasted like 5-10 seconds. Kits would be super cool, and I know there's a ton of creative ideas. Maybe I could make a video in the future about I can ask you guys for suggestions on kits and talk about kit ideas. That'd be a cool idea for the future. But yeah, I do want to make a video about kits in the future now that I'm talking about this. So yeah, maybe stay tuned for that. I don't know when, maybe a month or so. But yeah, it'll be cool. May actually do that sooner than I think. I think it'd be a cool idea, but I need suggestions. Keep an eye out. The next suggestion was actually suggested by Crane. It says a spell of invisibility. And I think this is really creative. The thing about it is it makes it so you could be stealthy, but it would also have a risk factor. They would need to make it so if you wore armor with it, you'd be able to see it. So then what you could do is you could be stealthy and be invisible, but like an invisibility potion, it makes you invisible, not the armor. If there's an invisible diamond armor person, that'd be OP, but you can use it with armor so you could hide your gamer tag, or you could just take off your armor and try and sneak around. I think there should be different rarities for different durabilities. You can have a minute-long durability, which is rare, and you could have a 30-second durability, a 15-second durability, which is more common. So then you could use it, and you'd have time to actually use it, but it also was rare. However, I think the biggest thing is that they need a counter to this, and I can imagine something like the spectral arrows, where if you have a thing, people will all have a box around them, so if someone was invisible, they'd have like the spectral box around them. That'd be a way to counter it, but that would be some sort of book or effect or potion or whatever the heck they want to do for that, or maybe some sort of armor piece, just some way to add some sort of spectral way to counter it. But I think invisibility books is something realistically I can see them adding, because it would be a really cool thing to add for sneaky factor, and I think it'd be balanced as long as it shows your armor. I think that's a really cool suggestion, and I think that one is the most realistic so far. The next suggestion was by TurboPiggy, and he said no voids. Turbo, I hate to break it to you, but I think your idea is fantastic. And I think they should get rid of voids completely, and you just endlessly fall forever and ever and ever. Or they can make a puddle where people could swim in and splash around. I don't know. Great suggestion, TurboPiggy. The next suggestion was actually by I'm Pizzas. It is more limited time modes, and he added more information on it. You can feel free to read what he said. However, I think that is a really cool suggestion for sure. For example, I think they could add things like netherite into a limited time mode. However, I think it'd be cool if they added a mode specifically for netherite that maybe lasted 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then just basically adding netherite to Skywars. That would allow people to have the chance to test it and play around with it. Then maybe they could add one about knockback Nemos. Yeah, I think that'd be super cool, about making it all knockback Nemos. My whole video was about everyone had knockback Nemos. It was really fun when we all got to go around and have knockback Nemos. And you had to be strategic and sneak up on people with also the risk of knowing other people have knockback Nemos. I think that would be super cool. Another idea could be making death tag, but making it an actual game where everyone has really low health and it's a one-hit game, but you have to be super careful. There are a few lives, things like that. Make it so they're limited time, so maybe you can get some hub titles or costumes from them, or just things like that when you level up. But they're also fun variety versions that you wouldn't be able to get from regular Skywars to keep things fresh and interesting, that could come out every few months. Maybe every 2 months a new limited time mode can come out for a few weeks, but they wouldn't even need that much effort. Just add one new thing, whether it's adding something like the knockback Nemos more often or netherite. I think that'd be super cool to do something like that in Skywars. The next suggestion was by Potato Pie, and he mentioned kits, but he also mentioned perks. And I think perks would be a cool thing to do, kind of like how Galaxite does on its Racers game or on Chronos. Basically, there could be different perks that you can buy or unlock from levels or Skywars. Some examples could be a jump boost perk that you can get. Another one could be kill regen, so you regenerate health on a kill, or you get 15-second regeneration. No, that's too long. 5-second regeneration, or you can have kill strength. You can get 15 seconds of strength after a kill. Things like that. However, I think for the stronger perks, they could add bounties, and bounties can be placed on players where you get more XP for killing them. So if you want to use a higher perk, you get a bounty on you that you'd get more XP if you die. So then you do have a good perk, but you also have a bounty to make it balanced. I think that would be super awesome. The next suggestion here was suggested by MJ Owns You, and he said water or lava buckets. Water buckets, obviously said by Evident, but lava buckets is the thing he said that he would add if he had to make a decision. Lava buckets would be very much like a duels mechanic, lava buckets would be a big advantage for people who are good at PvP and would definitely add a skills gap to Skywars. There are people who wouldn't really use lava buckets because it is definitely harder to time placing lava buckets and picking it up so you don't lose it. But for people who are familiar with duels and are good at PvP, they could use it to really quickly place down lava and set people on fire and even kill people. It would be super dangerous. For me, probably something I wouldn't be good at, but for people that are really good at PvP, this is something I could definitely see making a huge difference, and something that would just add a whole, like I said, the biggest thing it would add would be a skills cap to the game. I think it would be cool to add more things, to add skills and make Skywars harder for people and more to improve on, like lava buckets would do. So yeah, those are all the suggestions I have, but I just want to say one closing thought. Think about what Skywars is now. Skywars, there are some options of things to do. You could trap, you could be aggressive, you could wait back. But imagine if they added these things. Imagine if they added crafting. Imagine if they added enchanting. Imagine if they added perks. It would add so many new layers to Skywars. If you had a whole crafting layer, you could either wait back and try to craft things, but you'd have to be at risk of people going to the middle and getting good stuff. If you had enchanting, you could work on getting enchanting stuff. There'd just be so many different layers to the game that it would add on top of what Skywars actually is. And I think that would be super cool for sure. So that is all for today's video. Hopefully these suggestions do sound cool to you, and hopefully the Hive sees this video and gets some inspiration from this, or has an idea to use some of these suggestions. So yeah, that's going to be all. Hopefully you do enjoy this video, and make sure to subscribe if you are new. We are almost at 14,000 at the release of this video, or whenever I release it, I'm not sure, or at least at the time I'm recording this. So thank you guys so much for that. And that's going to be all for me. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.